All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have the regular season finale of the Area 51 Superspeedway Gen 4 Cup Series. Here tonight, 75 laps at Talladega Superspeedway, and this, again, regular season finale, race number 8 of 12, so we'll be taking the top 12 in points, and then those 12 drivers will be going for that 4-race championship at all 4 tracks: Atlanta, Daytona, iRacing Superspeedway, and once more the finale here at Talladega in 4 weeks' time. So great car count tonight. Looks like in the low 20s, so glad to have everybody here on the track. And, of course, everybody that's going to be hopping on watching, appreciate you all coming on board as well. And, Brennan, we've been peeking at the points, and right now it's really tight in those last about 7 spots. I said we were just talking a minute ago, and from 5th to 12th, it is 11 points between those guys. And then right now, Nick Wing in that 12th spot, only 1 point behind Jacob Lee. But then the fight's going to be with Patrick Groover. He sits in 13th, and he is 10 points behind. So he's going to have to make some ground here. Bud Steele, he's another 7 points further back. So same thing. Some of these guys are going to need to gain some ground, but also, as we always talk about too, the drop weeks, every race is equal. This one's no different. If you have a bad race, this could even become your drop race. So you never know where things are going to lie out until the very, very end of it. So realistically, again, with the car count we have, a lot can change here. So we always talk about kind of that risk versus reward. And Seth Groover, kind of the polar opposite. He's leading the points by 8 over Gabe. So that means he could probably try to play. I'd say wingman. I'll say maybe play brotherly love with his brother Patrick. Try to get him back up into that top 12. So it's going to be fun to see the strategy. Who's going to be aggressive? Who's going to kind of just try to play it safe until towards the end of the race? And then also fuel mileage as well. Brent, I was hearing in the low 20s. So pretty much guaranteed 3-stop race for this one. Drivers going to have to pit around 21 or so. So we might see somewhere in that 20 to 22 range. So, but nobody should be able to stretch it into that 25 into a 2-stop window. So don't expect to see much fuel saving happening tonight, at least naturally. If caution comes out at a opportune time for it to happen, you never know.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail right on the head there with the word of strategy. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys play it out. The race is pretty much, like you said, cookie cutter 3-stop. Nail that and get out. But we heard, past last week's winner and past winners this year is the way they've got it done is being aggressive. So how do you put aggressive and patience together at a track where it's averaging 3 wide at 200 miles an hour and you're on the bubble? So it's going to be a very interesting race. A lot of guys going to be on the edge of their seat all night.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about some drivers where there's some drivers that were used to playing it safe and kind of just trying to be there at the end and make the moves. And then, like we talked about with the Groovers, with Seth leading the points and Patrick right now 1 spot out, I don't think they are really known to ride. We always joke that if there's a third lane, they're probably in it. So I would expect to see that from early on in the race. And looking at the laps right now, looks like we've got 21 of the 24 drivers, it looks like, have put a lap time in tonight. So still got a couple still on track finishing up their final laps here to see where they wind up, and looking for some of those drivers we just talked about. And I do see Patrick has put a time in. It does not look like Seth is opting to go ahead and put one in there. So another driver also, like I mentioned, just on the outside looking in, but Steele also not seeing him putting a lap time down. So again, maybe some movement's going to be happening over the course of this race here tonight.
Yeah, and one thing that really, caught my eye is, and just as a broadcaster, I'm trying to learn how to be better. So if I ever do hop back in the car, how can I be better? And you look at Seth and these Gabe and these guys that's up front and the top of the points and clocked off a couple wins. The incidence for these guys is iRacing collects everything throughout the year. It's really, really low. They keep themselves up front, and a lot of times that's not where the trouble happens. The trouble happens in the eye of the storm in the middle of the pack. So getting up front and being aggressive has paid off for a lot of these guys this year.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So with that, looks like the grid is just starting to form here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up that starting grid for tonight. And it is going to be Dean Wilkinson on the pole position in that number 55 by 0.02 of a second over his teammate Charles Johnson. See Charles there in that number 9 Hydro Flask car. He'll be outside of row number 1. And then in row 2, you got two of the boot knocker drivers there, Gabe Butler, Everett Lane. Same thing, Gabe only 0.06 of a second off the top spot. Then you got Kevin Hash, Ray Rittenauer, those two working together very well throughout the season in row 3 together. Then you got Jack Walls, Tom Dixon, Jim Brooks, and Eric Laurie. A few more of the Roswell guys, TW there, boot knocker as well, so a lot of them all together here. And then Patrick Groove, we mentioned, trying to work his way into that top 12, is in 11th. Gary Huffine's there right next to him in 12th. And then continuing down the running order, you got Ryan Decker there in 13th, along with Nick Wing. Then Jacob Lee, Todd Merkel, Joshua Heiboff, Frank Ranger Jr., Anthony Lane, Robert Amaral in the top 20. And then you see some of these guys opting not to qualify there a little further back. Dale Rapp is in 21st. Seth Groove, we mentioned, did not put a lap in, along with Bud Steele and Mike Allen. So those are the 24 drivers that are in the server. We'll see if all of them do grid or not. But again, right now up front, though, it's going to be those teammates in the 55 and the 9 car are going to lead this thing to green.
Yeah, a guy I'm really going to keep my eye on tonight. He's had a really, really good season all year long, tied for the second most top 10s this year, and that's the 52. He's opting to start back there in the back tonight, sitting 10th in points. So the 52 Adele Rapp, I'm really going to keep my eye on. Had a really good season. Hopefully it all can pan out for him tonight.
Yeah, and that's exactly as it's finding. Just you put yourself in those positions. I mean, we talk about it week in, week out, but you always have to keep your just keep yourself in position to try to have a chance to win these races. And like you said, he's had a lot of top 10s, and so he's just waiting to try to convert one of those into a win. And see the field all starting to roll up for that warm-up lap here, and then we will get underway here in just a moment. So we do have all 24 cars on the grid and on the track here, so that's really good to see as well.
Yeah, a big pack. The bigger the pack, they always say the bigger the crash, and hopefully everybody can keep it straight and get going. But Gael, when you come to Talladega, you can always just know that in the back of your head that storm's just waiting to blow through, and hopefully you're at the right spot at the right time. As a lot of these drivers are gonna itching to get to the front.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where it's almost deceivingly wide, where again it's about, I think the official stats, it's 8 feet wider than Daytona, and at times it feels like it's 20 feet wider, because this is a track where you feel so comfortable just being able to run that third lane, not feeling as packed on, as tied to the guys to next to you or anything like that. So it's one of those things where it almost promotes that third lane, that aggressive racing as well, where it almost maybe gets you in more trouble than a track like a Daytona or Atlanta, where you can go through wide, but you feel a lot more claustrophobic doing so, which again, for me, this is honestly, Talladega is kind of one of my favorite of the play races because of that little extra wiggle room where, you can run that third lane with no dramas and you don't feel really too stressed about it. And I mean, I've seen some other races. One of our good friends, Jimmy Crow Jr., he puts on a lot of races, and he sent me a link to one of theirs, and they were 4x4, I don't know how many rows deep. It was wild. So like I said, they had the extra room and said, all right, let's put another car in the mix there. So it's a lot of fun. But we're about to get underway here, Brandon. They're going to hand it over to that 55 and the 9. And then once they hit that restart zone, we will get underway. 75 laps are scheduled distance. Of course, 2 green, white checkers, 2 fast pairs, 1 fast pair if they need it. As green flags out, we got trouble right at the kick here in the back. I'm not sure if someone missed a gear, but that is going to be, I believe, Dale Rapp is 1 in the 52. And then I think Anthony Lane, those two are the ones that got together on that initial start. Let's go back and take a look, see what exactly happened here. So watching the two of them right in front. And, just a little recording. Saw he got back to the 081, and then they got into each other. And that's not the way you want to start. You see the 52, that center punch nose for him. Anthony Lane looks like his car is not too bad, but unfortunately the one that also got caught up in all that is Bud Steele. You see his nose all center punched in there as well, so not an ideal start for the 3 of them. However, it looks like from there on up, the 77, nope, there's caution is out, and I think that might be an admin throw yellow, just because there was definitely an incident involving multiple cars, and iRacing not throwing. I think the opposite is like, you know what, this one probably needs to have one. We do see that from time to time. So quick yellow here, which will bring out the first yellow here, Brandon. And yeah, again, talk about some of those guys in those potential cutoff spots you mentioned. I say hopefully no commentators curse, but Dale Rapp one of those in 10th in points, Bud Steele 14th in points. So yeah, so right off the kick, those are two drivers that are going to have to get some repairs done to their car. Got to save that fast repair, I think, at this point in the race, and then yeah, just see if they can recover from here.
Yeah, and I'm definitely sorry, Dale. If it's the commentator's curse, I apologize. But we seen how early that checkup started. Guys ready to get going. Guys are anxious to get this race underway. They know what it means to everybody to fight for that Ranger Concept trophy. So just a little hiccup there on the start, and hats off to the admins for throwing that caution. You know that just happened from guys not trying to run over anybody, and the race hadn't started yet. So let's throw the caution out and. One thing it will play into mind is, now with these couple extra laps that these guys get to run, this might help in the long term for, easy, shorter pit stop come to the end. But hats off again to the admins for throwing that and making sure everybody's tightened back up for
and that's really good. Good point too, Brandon. Yeah, do these guys come in and top off or not? Definitely a mixed bag, and teammates actually split there. The 55 stays out, the 9 comes in. So yeah, very, very mixed bag of drivers here. Who's staying out? Who's going on in there? You see those that are starting to stay out further back. They're gaining a ton of spots here. Todd Merkel is going to be one of those. So not going to be a lot of drama and decision making here. So we'll do. You just talked about it. Let's go ahead and show off that that sponsor that's going to be donating the trophies to our champions this season. Again, big thank you to Frank putting that on for us. So we'll step away for just a quick second, and we'll come back here in just a moment.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
All right, and we are back. Just about get to the one to go. We'll see if maybe anybody decides to top off as well. And again, you saw on that commercial and say we're focused on that car as we speak. So again, big thank you to Frank for offering up the trophies for the champions this season. And I mean, he did it last season. Didn't even have any like sponsor advertising, anything like that. He's just like, hey, I want to donate a trophy to the champion. And so Gabe Butler got a really nice trophy, and he's been showing me some kind of thoughts and ideas he has for a future one, and they've stepped up the game where it's like I've talked about it before, Brandon, where it's like it kind of wants to put me back in the seat. It's like I'd love to get one of those trophies. They're really cool to see what he's kind of got together, and I mean it's in the name too. Like just the concepts that he has on the trophies are really fun. So. And of course, like you saw in the commercial, it's not just trophies. There's a lot of other things you can check out over there. So, again, big thank you for Frank for just donating those for our champions, and just being an awesome part of this group. And that's one of the things we always talk about too. It's just such a good group of guys that are, like I said, they get competitive. There might be a little bit of drama here and there, but they're always here to help each other when needed.
Yeah, definitely a great group of guys, and hats off to Frank for doing that. And competitive, I think is a little bit underlined there, as we've seen the 88 last second pull in there to come to pit road and top off. They want that trophy. They've seen it, they want it, and where they're making moves like that last second, where hey, they're trying to get every little bit of advantage as they can as we're getting ready to go back green.
Yep, so what we have here, Brandon, is the top 4 did not pit. So our pole sitter, Dean Wilkinson, Kevin Hash, Ray Rittenhour, they also stay out, so they gain 3 spots each. And then Todd Merkel a little further back, he stayed out, so now he is up plus 12 positions in that number 2 machine. So again, fuel mileage, it's not going to change a ton. We talked about, again, being in that low 20 mark, so I would say based on that, especially with the caution laps, it's probably going to change things from, we'll say, pitting at 22. Maybe these guys could go to like another lap or so, maybe like 23 or so. And then the guys that topped off, maybe they could get a little bit past that 25 marker. So it's going to be intriguing to see. But first, we got to get back to the restart zone. And again, it's going to be Dean here getting into that Geico restart zone there. And then from here, he has control. And pretty much all these guys have plate races, Brandon. We're going to wait till they get to that line as we get back underway. And you see right now the 87 really tight on that 55. Outside line starting to form nicely as well as they head back into 1.
Yeah, a very good start there by the 55, and better start there this second time around. You've seen everybody a little bit more spread out, as we seen is looking out the back windshield here. That backpack really made sure everybody had a good amount of room. Everybody relaxed, took a deep breath, and now it's really time to lock in and start hitting your marks. And for the other couple out up front, it may pay off in the long run, but for the 2, he gained 12 spots, and that gets you out of the eye of the storm. That gets you up front where we talked about a lot of people wanted to be. So a good move there for the 2 in my eyes early in this race. Is we talked about it, the 3rd lane's already picking up with that Cincy 48 of Ryan Decker.
Yeah, I saw the groovers like, oh, here we go, they're together. And it's like, oh, nope, not quite all of them yet. I see Seth on his way. But yeah, it's going to be the 48 and the 21 working that top lane there with Ryan and Jacob Lee. But now, say add that add the 54 to the mix, and I also see a sun drop car. Thinking about it, nope, he's going to drop back in line there. I think it's Mike Allen, but just thought it was outside. Look at Seth, he's trying to pick up that momentum to get right back up there with him.
Yeah, and if you're the 52, and I'm even shocked to see the 6 up there getting in this. But if you were those guys that were just involved in that earlier contact, this is what you want to see. You want to see these guys up here racing hard. Especially if you had to use that fast repair, you want as many guys as at the end on the level same playing field as you. So the 52, we can see him back there just riding around as these guys run 3 wide. This is exactly what he wanted to see. So 3 wide, about 4 or 5 rows deep, is the 55 still leading them.
Yeah, no, and I was looking at the nose. The 52 car, it looks nice and clean. I can't tell you it was a lengthier stop. It was about a 33-second stop. Bud Steele's about 28 seconds. So I think both those guys look like those cars are fully repaired. You can see they're both easily hanging onto the draft. So I think no dramas for them. Obviously, just the initial stress of the contact. But I think same thing. They're able to recover and keep going from here. But yeah, like you said, we've got 3 wide here, about 5 rows deep there. So now you saw that 13. He's popped into frame there as well. And the crazy part is, so that's Mike Allen. He's in row number 5 or so. He's outside the top 15 just because of how tightly packed these guys are 3x3 here. And right now, nobody's been able to surge forward. It's been Dean on the inside, Kevin Hash in the middle, and then Ryan Decker on the outside line. But they're just, right now, all just pretty much even keel. Nobody can get that big advantage here to kind of try to clear one of those lanes.
Yeah, and you spoke about it at the beginning of the broadcast that Talladega brings comfortability. You get more comfortable. You can make a little bit more moves. You can, if you make a slip out going into the corner at iRacing Speedway, it could cause a big one. Here, you got a little bit more room to catch it, or the guy behind you to react to it. And once you start getting that comfortable, as we've seen these drivers comfortable already 4, 5, 6 rows deep, that's when guys start to make mistakes, when they start to get comfortable. So it's really these guys are really gonna have to stay tight on the wheel and have them 4D racewear gloves tight and make sure they're aware of everything going on around them.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Is when you're in these types of positions, that's when you start to death grip the wheel. And so I've done some endurance races, and there's times where I finish up and I'm just like, oh man, I should be wearing some gloves to help myself out. And again, we talk about some of our great sponsors, great associates. So you mentioned, obviously, we talked about Ranger Creatives Concepts. We've got also Whiplash SimCams have been given some really fun camera angles so far in this race here as well. And then, Jim Herrick and the guys at 4D Race are big love to them as well. They've been amazing. like I said, he's got new things coming. He's asking some of the drivers what they're interested in for on the club side of things. And so, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot coming down the pipeline over there too soon. So definitely check them out as well at 4draceware.com. A really, really good group of guys. And I say I can definitely vouch a lot of the Indy guys on Tuesday nights definitely are using a lot of his products, and they all seem to love them.
Yeah, and it really makes a difference, especially when you get these long races or the long green flag races, you really don't have a chance to relax, and the gloves make it comfortable, keep your hands dry and your feet comfortable. And speaking about this pack and these guys being in the middle of it, think about the guys that's on the bubble and the points, and they're right there in the eye of the storm, and you can't go anywhere. You can't just say, hey, can somebody please pull over and let me out? You have to stay in the middle of this eye of the storm no matter what you see going on around you. So you really, really got to, bring out your patience here and hope your teammates have very, very good communication, because it's going to come into play.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And that's why, like you said, obviously the big kind of initial scare for the 52 of Dale Rapp, got that initial contact, was able to luckily benefit, get that caution, get the damage repaired on that car. And now he's saying, okay, I did not like how that started for me. I'm going to roll back here. I've got nobody behind me if something happens. I got plenty of room to avoid it. Because right there you see a little bit of sparks out of 2 there. I think a few drivers maybe just flirting with that outside wall. But yeah, right now you can see just all these guys locked onto each other. And yeah, I mean, for me, we always talk about where do you want to be. Jacob there maybe just catching the wall a little bit. He's okay again, though. It's just one of those things, where do you want to be on track? And for me, this man right here, Joshua Heibaugh, this is my magic spot, is right out of the main pack. Just like the first car, kind of single file. You got a little bit of wiggle room left, right. You can be ready to react, but you're still right in the main pack. So that's kind of where I like to be, because you've got help behind you, and you've got a lot of places to move around should you need to. So if I'm in this car, this is where if I'm the 101, this is exactly where I'm positioning myself as well.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't really seen as much in since we've came here is the engine temps. These guys running in this big pack, they've been able to get out and keep their nose clean. So when you're in a storm like this, if your temps start to get high and you don't get over the radio and let somebody know, it can cause a very good mess. So you pointed it out perfect. That 101 is in a great spot just in case anything, a blown engine, a wreck, he can move either up or down to avoid it. So I'm with you there with the spot of the 101, as we see how tight it really is inside this. I call it the storm. A lot of people call it a pack, but I say inside the storm here.
And I say, obviously, we don't get to see all the gauges that accurately than what the drivers do, but so you can see all the gauges there. We don't see quite all of them because the right hand of Seth Gruber there is kind of covering a couple of them. But that very top left one, you can see that number starts at 100, goes to, I think, about 300. And those are the ones that they'll be watching, is the water temp and the oil temp. Once those start to creep up, the gauges will actually start to flash to let you know, hey, you're starting to get a little hot, and then it will actually go solid red as well once it gets a little bit too hot as well. So those are the gauges, and I'm saying they make them so that they're very obvious and for you to catch. And so they're really, really nice gauges. I say, part of me kind of, I don't know, I really miss the analog gauges, especially ones that have that kind of technology in them, to the digital ones now. But yeah, those are ones that I really, really like, those gauges. And yeah, I kind of wish we went back to the analog stuff versus the digital, but I get the reasoning why. There's a lot more details you can get. As, oh my goodness, a lot of wiggling going right there, just out of 2. But right now it looks like finally Kevin Hash maybe just starting to nose ahead, but as soon as I say that, here comes Dean again on the inside line.
Yeah, that looked like a good old moment of a sneeze. I've sneezed coming out of the corner like that before, and it's made me wiggle like that. So, but what's going to be, big, starting to see the big moves. And yeah, we bring up the temperature and the gauges and stuff like that. What we've heard from the drivers this year is that even sometimes before it gets to red, sometimes the motor's given, it doesn't even give you that opportunity to get to the blinking. So these cars can be a handful outside of just driving them with what you got to deal with. And we see the 48 working that middle lane as the third lane starting to fizzle out a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan had to make a quick, decisive move there to jump in front of Kevin Hash to lead that the middle lane, I should say. And that opens up now opens up Jacob Lee now to lead that second lane, with Kevin Hash now lining up behind that 48 of Ryan Decker. And so, again, the Groover's just catching the wall. You can see trying to recover. And you can see there quick reactions again from the brother. And I do see again, I'm looking at the way they're organized. We're early here, Brandon, but notice that's 32 behind the 54 because, again, 32 is safe on points. He's right now our championship leader coming into tonight's race. 54, he's got room to get up there. So right now, kind of, I think Seth is going to be that thing where it's like, hey, you go where you need to go. I'm going to push you, and we'll get up there once we need to make it happen. But like I said, right now, though, there's just all these guys. You can see there's no give right now. These guys are all pushing for all they're worth here. As we're probably in that 8 to 9 lap window from the first set of pit stops. And again, there are 4 drivers that did not pit here with the 55, the 87, the 03, and the 2. Although I'm showing Eric Laurie not pitting as well, but I think that's an error. I think I saw him on pit road. And then those guys that did pit, we got one there off track. Oh, we got big trouble.
Ooh, big wreck. We seen some guys starting to, I don't know if they were starting to check up or what really happened there. It was really starting to get spaced out as we were coming through the try over there. Man.
Yeah, so right before the pit window started about to be time, had some contact. Saw a number of cars involved in this one. Obviously, you see Everett Lane, Jacob Lee by far getting the worst of it. Their track position-wise, but I thought I saw Charles Johnson get. Yeah, Charles got a pretty big shot there as well. So we're going to try to hunt down, see what happened here, because that was, it all happened extremely quickly. So what we'll do is we're going to bump it back a little bit here, and I'm going to start with Jacob Lee because we saw there was a lot of, I wouldn't say confusion, but they're just a little bit off-centered with one another. And I think, actually, no, it's further, it's on the inside here. Look at the 24 and the 9. It's actually here with Charles Johnson and Everett Lane. So let's get a better look at these two here. So I got to try to find an angle to see them a little nicer here. Yeah, I think we'll stay up top here. And so we're going to focus on Everett Lane. He is on the middle lane. Charles Johnson's in that 9 car just to his inside. And kind of just honestly meet in the middle there. I'm not sure. I don't know if I can really put that on either. Look at Jack Walls. That car is pointing right to the outside. And then that's where the contact is with the 21. And then you can see there's, Jim Brooks gets a big shot there into the back of the 24. So probably some significant nose damage for him. And then right there, the 9 into the back of that 21. So then we got to go up. Let's check where Jack Walls is in all this. Because, again, he was one that had some contact. That car's already pointed straight. So really good job by Jack to hang on to that one. So, honestly, it could have been a lot bigger than it was. Let's look at some damage. Yeah, you can see Jim Brooks' car. That nose very center punch. I'm going to say that's fast repair written all over it. But we're going to jump live here once more as Fields head into pit road.
Yeah, and that is exactly what the 55 wanted to see. You know, them guys might have had to come a couple laps before these other guys, and they were definitely not organized to come together. So this is a very, very good break for the 55 and the 2 and those guys that didn't make that first round of pit stops. Unfortunate break for the 9 and those guys, but I think they're going to be able to grab them fast repairs and get back out. And another big break there was for the 32 and the 54. Somehow it didn't look like they came around with any contact to their vehicles, and that happened there right there next to them.
Yeah, exactly right. So once again, quick yellow here. We'll step away for a moment, pull up one of our another wonderful associates, and we'll be back here in just one moment.
At Scentsy, we love fragrance. How it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsy's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
All right, lights are off the pace car. We are back to 1 to go, and we've got some strategies on the damage repair side of things. I'm looking at Jacob Lee. Well, we're trying to look at Jacob Lee. That car's hiding. Oh, yeah, that car still got some pretty decent left front damage there. But it looks like, again, I think he's opting to get his repaired, trying to save that fast repair. We were talking about Charles Johnson. I believe that's probably a fast repair for that 9. And then the one that we're both nervous about, but that car is looking pretty good already, Brandon, that 51 car. The left front might be still pushed in a tiny bit, but I think he can work with that, truthfully. So we saw what that thing looked like. He was in there for about 2 minutes. Jacob Lee's starting to roll now. That car still got a little bit, left front still pretty unhappy there too. So we'll have to keep an eye on those two, see if they can hang on to that draft field all back up to the pace car. But you made a really good point, Brandon, was the guys that had not pitted there, the 55, the 03, the 87, they were not together. They weren't really organized. Some were still stuck on the top lane. So they were going to be in a really tough position to try to figure out how to get to pit road. So like you mentioned to me while we were under commercial there, they probably actually caught a really big break with the timing of that caution.
Yeah, that was definitely gonna be very difficult, and they were definitely either gonna come 1 or at most 2 cars deep. And not only that, but the 4 of them they executed pit road, and they're gonna the 4 of them are gonna bring us right down here to the green. And we seen somebody that didn't like being in the back very long, the 6 of Bud Steele, after that beginning contact. He's made his way into the top 6. Guy yells the 55 of Dean Wilkinson's gonna bring us to the green through this long, patient dog leg.
Yep, and you're right. Yeah, Bud third car on the outside. He's got Ryan Decker right behind him as well. As we saw that Scentsy commercial there as well. So big thank you again to Caitlin, everything that they do. And yeah, so we're back underway. Dean leading the way. And again, the 2 we're going to watch are at the very end of that pack, the 51 and the 21. Both opting to try to get those damage repaired manually. So we'll see what they can do as we get back underway. Starting lap 21 here, Brendan. So we're kind of in that window of pretty much a natural pit stop window when they would have stopped anyway. So we're still at the point now where we're still going to need 2 more stops to get to the end of this race, no matter what.
Yeah, definitely going to need the 2, but, you know, every time we try to think something's going to go according to plan or we got it figured out, the racing gods throw a wrench back in it. Is maybe 2 laps here, and we're back to 3 wide racing. Is Ryan Decker is going to lead Charles Johnson there on that outside line. As we see Gabe and looks like
Mike Allen, 13, sun
Mike
drop.
Allen.
And that car's got a little bit of fender damage if I saw correctly as well. Take another look at it, but I thought I saw that right front pushed in a tiny bit. See if we can get a better angle on that car. And yeah, that right front's shoved in just a little bit there. As we saw Frank there just rubbing the outside wall out of 2. Looks like no harm, no foul, and yeah, there's my concern right there. You see in the background there, Jacob Lee could not hang on to that draft. So he's going to need a caution to bring himself back into the mix. And right now you can see everybody's trying to get themselves figured out here. And once again, it's been that 48 of Ryan Decker, apologies. He's been really vying for that 3rd lane here. But this is what I've been watching, though, is that right there. You can see how wide Ryan goes. Now we're 4 wide here. And again, I think the 48 really can kind of come down a little bit of lane, but we talked about the 4 wide. We got some more coming. Here goes Gabe. He's going to go with the 54. The 48 now is in a tough spot without any draft. I think Bud Steele's trying to give him a little bit of room. And I think they just got reassembled, and zero hesitation there. Look at that number 32, jumped right back to that third lane. Said, all right, let's take it, but no helpers yet, but that got hairy there for a second.
Yeah, these guys just like to call that the Talladega stripe. Them cars that ain't going back that 54 or that 88 off of that third or fourth row. Them guys, they get that car round back up coming out of 2. They'll probably give it another shot at it, but yeah, the 48, you brought him up just a few seconds ago, being up there leading that lane and wanting to be up front. As we brought up earlier with the 52, he's tied with them for the most top 10s in the league this year. So, and just being aggressive and trying to be up front at all times keeps you out of the havoc, and good things can come from it. So shout out to the 48 team being up there and keeping it up front.
Yeah, I'm saying, and like I said, yeah, Ryan's definitely kept the aggression built up here, and I've talked to some of the drivers, and we talked about it with the 51. He had mentioned on Thursday night that he kind of changed his mindset, where he's like, all right, I need to be more aggressive. That's going to help me get the results that I'm trying to get, and saying that again, it's a risk versus reward, because there's times where you have to race really hard. But what I'm watching right there again, I saw at the same time there, Ryan's trying to give plenty of room through the travel, but again, the travel's weird there. As I always like to call it, the elevator, straight top to bottom there for the 48, clears Dean Wilkinson. He's going to take over the inside line there. As Dean says, not so fast. I'm going to hop back up to the middle lane, take my momentum here in front of that 03 of Kevin Hash. And right off the bat there, immediately Dean right back to the point. Oh, big bump there. And I don't think Dean was planning on turning down there. I think that push just sent him straight to the bottom. And now Charles Johnson, who got 2 of the TW guys, now leading the inside and middle lanes.
Yeah, we've heard it from winners and top 3 that, stop by thankfully after the races and give us interviews and tell us a little bit about the race. And like you said, they bring up aggressive. And I think if I'm a driver and I got everybody around me, I kind of want them to be that aggressiveness instead of that patient, hesitant. You don't want the guy around you to be hesitant, because that's when mistakes will happen. As we seen Ryan when he got clear on that third lane, he knew he was clear, he got the okay that he was clear, and he just shot straight down. Don't wait, because when you wait, that's when that line gets that run, and that's when mistakes start to happen. So we see big moves like that. That's what you want to see in my eyes, is a racer around you. Be that aggressiveness, so hey, I know if he's clear, he's going to shoot, and this is going to be my move, compared to where he may wait a couple seconds and then come down and take my nose off. So, and I think we're seeing a result of it here in race 8. Every guy wanting to be up there and run hard.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And the Saints, speaking of those ones running hard, that 54 of Patrick Gruber, he's leading that outside line. He's got Gabe right behind him. He's got Seth behind him. And then you see the 21 Jacob Lee just now rolling out of pit road, just decided, you know what, I can't hang on with this anymore. Got to take that fast repair. Unfortunately, though, just wasn't quite quick enough in getting in and out of pit road before the pack had caught him. He just lost too much time before. So unfortunately, I'll say he's got the damage repairs, but unfortunately it's going to feel like nothing's changed, because he's going to be rolling solo again here. So silver lining, he is the only car one down. But yeah, it's definitely obviously not the spot he wants to be in. But again, looking at the point side of things, should still be, oh, actually I lied, not very safe. He's 11th in points right now. So yeah, so that's not where Jacob wants to be. So he's going to have a little bit of help. And it's like the big thing for me is he needs to try to avoid going that 2 down, because that's where it gets a lot more difficult to get that spot back.
Yeah, and the blessing in disguise for Jacob right now is that everybody in the pack is together. He is the only guy that's fell off. Nobody's lost the draft, or we haven't had any contact where anybody else lost it. So like you said, he's 1 lap down. These guys are racing hard, 3-4 wide. Anything can happen at any time. So I like that decision of coming in now, getting it repaired, going the 1 down. So if that caution does come out, you don't have to worry about the repair or anything later. So get it done and out of the way, and hope the chips fall your way.
Yeah, exactly right. So then we talk about the big battling up front. And then you got this group here that have been just really playing it safe. Like I said, there's kind of the 2 plans of how you want to approach these races. And so right now, Gary Huffines in the 19. He and Anthony Lay and Robert Amaral, I believe, all working together in that same Discord. And they're in the mindset of, you know what, let's play it safe right now. Nick Wing as well, he's kind of rolling a little further back. And you can see he's also now Jim Brooks right there back with him, as well as Frank Ranger and Bud Steele. They're all locked on together here. And then Joshua Highbaugh there, as well as Jack Walls. So these guys have all, they've been in the thick of it, but I think right now they said, all right, let's back it down a tiny bit. Everett Lane, we saw him involved in that incident. Unfortunately for him, like I said, at this point there's just really nowhere to go. So he's just kind of going where the momentum takes him, and right now there's just not a lot of places for that to go. So with that, though, the TW drivers, though, the 9 and the 55 of Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, they've been able to kind of take control of that inside lane. You got teammates outside of them with Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer, and then the Groover brothers with a Gabe Butler in the sandwich there with those two. But again, you can see the numbers, though, are definitely in that middle and inside lanes, but not for lack of effort right now in that third lane.
Yeah, and I think guys have understood that we can run 3 wide and not have to go completely full bore out. And I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing some guys starting to make some moves, starting to find their teammates, as we've seen the pace kind of calm down a little bit. Start knowing that green flag pit stops aren't too far away, as we're going to hit lap 31 here at the line, and start to maybe find their teammates just in case we do have that green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and that stop should be in about probably, again, roughly in that 10 lap range, because they all pitted around 18, 19. So based on the numbers there, again, if we get to the 21, 22 lap, that should get us into about that lap 40 window. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that and talk about the numbers. Right now, those numbers don't matter because that 88 was given a good shot to the 54 through the backstretch. Again, roll off of it through the turns. Just one, let the car breathe a little bit. Also, it's usually pretty easy to turn these things around if you're trying to push through the turns. We saw that 77 there just caught the outside wall. Again, looks like he should be fine from that. And yeah, I'm looking at the side of that car. It looks pretty clean still, so I think he's getting away with that one there for Robert Amaral. But yeah, like I said, these guys are going to have to start to get a little bit greedier, try to find those positions to put themselves in. Mike Allen, we talked about him a couple times tonight. He's right there in the thick of it. He's opted not to just sit around and cruise with his teammates. He wants to be up front, try to charge a little bit in that Sundrop Chevy. So he's having a really solid run here at the moment, plus 17. But again, still a long, long ways to go in this one. And then Eric Laurie as well right now just cruising in that middle lane, which, again, cruising, but probably also a bit of a death grip at the same time here.
Yeah, and I think one of the most, unique things about this league and what makes it awesome and makes drivers drive every time they get in their rig on Thursday or Sunday or Tuesday is that Area 51 includes that drop week. So if maybe you had to work over late one time, or you had something to do with your kids and you just couldn't make it, that gives you that chance to come in and still run hard, and makes these races so much more exciting because, you can still have a shot to lock in because you don't know where you're going to be exactly with the drop week. So, we got a big push there by the 88.
They're trying to get themselves saying, and so they just get, oh no, more contact. The 88's going to go around. Yeah, big slide by the 88. Seth has got a piece as well. And so far, staying green. Honestly, surprised by that. I because that car was going completely around here. We're going to go one more time back on this one. And we'll focus on the 88 because he definitely was, he just about had it caught. And then right there, Seth just excellently got into this corner of him. And then, oh my goodness, Jim Brooks there also just barely gets through that. I would say that was at full speed, obviously. Gabe opted, he got back on track. The 32 decided to hit pit road. I think that was just a quick fast repair and then back out here. And so it's unfortunately the ones that got the worst out of that one are Frank Ranger in the 17. He's lost a draft from it. And of course, Gabe Butler and Seth Gruber both getting involved in it. So a couple guys that were really tight to maybe losing that draft. I think they're going to be safe here. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Nick Wing, Robert Amaral, they're kind of dropping back a little bit. So right now, this is kind of where I talk about that ladder here, where if Jim Brooks, if he can roll back a little bit, let Nick Wing kind of just sniff his draft and pull himself back into the mix, he'll be able to recover from that. Robert Amaral, I think at this point, he's just too far back. I think he's lost that draft. And then Nick Wing is still going the wrong way because these guys are trying to push hard here to get to Everett Lane. So this is going to put Nick in a tough spot here. I do need to mention Gabe Butler's on pit road as well. So we're going to jump back up front here to keep an eye on things up front. And right now it looks like everything pretty much status quo for them. 88 rolling out of pit road now. And this is going to change the lucky dog situation now, Brandon, because Gabe's just about to get swallowed up by the pack here. That's going to now put the 88 in that lucky dog position, which is exactly what we just talked about. That's not what the 21 wants to see. And Gabe does have a chance here to try to tag onto the draft. And Gabe could be the saving grace as well here for Nick Wing, because Nick's going to grab some draft off of Gabe. And then I would expect to see these two just draft as hard as they possibly can to pull themselves back up into that pack. But again, I just don't know if the numbers are going to work. But actually, here you go. Look at Everett Lane. He didn't make a mistake. He's dropping anchor. He is picking up his teammate in that 88. So like I said, if Everett can get to Nick if Everett can get to Gabe and then Nick get to them as well, this could bring them all back into play. But that whole change up here, though, Brandon, it's put these guys in a tough spot now. The 6, the 51, the 54, they're going to have to be really aggressive because they're now out of that main pack here.
Yeah, I think what also was an underrated move, and that we'll see, is that 88 could have came to pit road with, was it the 32?
32,
right?
yeah,
Correct?
Seth, yeah.
The 32. He came immediately and got it fixed. Gabe went one extra lap, bringing him out on lap 36, which that would be 2 more pit stops. So he would have, one final pit stop left, and he can make it the final way. So something to keep note as this race goes on. Gabe did lose that, but he went that distance where he only will need 1 extra stop, as the 32 may just be a little bit short.
And you can see now, this is, like I said, this is the break that Nick Wing needed. Now he's not by himself. He's got some drafting help, and they've got a really stout group of 6 cars here. Everett Lane's pushing Gabe Butler. Then you got Bud Steele there, Jim Brooks, Patrick Groover, and Nick Wing. So these 6, I could really see them making that charge back up. They're looking for Seth in this group, and he is further up, and so he'll be the first car that they get to. And right now, the next car for position is Mike Allen. But right now, like I said, I'm going to watch the gap between Everett Lane and Mike Allen. Currently, it's about 4.5 seconds. But like you said, though, pit stops are just about to open here in about the next 2 to 3 laps, I would presume. And you can see people are getting ready for it because we have pretty much the field now single file. And while we were checking all of that, you can see Kevin Hash got to the front in front of Charles Johnson. And then you get the 87 Ray Rittenauer in front of Dean Wilkinson, and then Ryan Decker there in 5th. So the guys trying to find an opening to get in here, though, are Eric Laurie there, as well as the 19 that Gary Huffines just haven't been able to find anything yet. As I say that, yeah, they're still trying to find a home. But right now we've got pretty much the top 14 drivers here in this lead pack as we just crossed halfway.
Yeah, so a couple wrenches thrown in some people's races. It's going to make it a little interesting. And one thing you got to remember as we see one guy looks like it's going to come to pit road, that looks like maybe the 13 of Mike Allen is going to come solo down pit road.
Looks hot.
Yeah, unfortunately, that might be a penalty. Same
Way
with the
too
51.
hot there.
That's what I was going to bring up. It's wider, and it's way easier to get on pit road. But the one thing is you carry a lot of speed, and with the openness and the wideness, sometimes you push that brake pedal a little bit too late, and we've seen it catch a few people already.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's going to for sure be a speeding penalty for the 51 on entry. We'll see about the 77, the 13. That was definitely aggressive. We'll see if it lets them get away with it or not. Frank Ranger's also in, so I'm thinking basically, yeah, you can see Dean already pulling left. So here we go, first group of cars hitting pit road together. And you see a lot of lockups happening here, but now they just got to make sure that they hit that speed zone. Ooh, that 03 was locking them up pretty deep there, Brandon. Here comes the 54-28. They're just trying to get everything they could as well to close that gap on those guys in front of them. And this is the same thing. This is where maybe you do a little different, where you say, all right, you know what? I am going to do fuel only. Anything I can shorten my pit stop, I got to do now. So, and yeah, 51 still sitting on pit road, as is the 13. So those two did get an unsafe entry. And so now, we'll watch these guys get service done to their machines. As there goes Patrick. And I'm looking at Nick Wing. Did he get too hot on entry? I think he did in the 28. Yeah, he's speeding on entry for him. So now we go back. Here comes our next pack of cars. Only about 5 of them here coming in together. And this will be our pretty much complete the cycle of pit stops. It looks like, oh, you see the 48 there, big slide on the entry. and he's going to get it going and maybe just kiss the left rear than the wall a little bit, but I think he'll be okay. Then you see Everett Lane there along with Gabe Butler. And so once again, we talked about pit stops, just mistakes and miscues, and it's unfortunate biting a couple guys here again tonight.
Yeah, the old-fashioned just go to the super speedway and push draft the whole day is definitely out of the picture. It's you gotta execute every last single bit of it, and it's caught so many people today. And not only that, but one of the most important races of the year. So much stress and so many things going on these drivers' mind, and got to get back on the horse and keep riding because we're just now hitting the halfway mark.
Yeah, so here comes Todd Merkel, big head of steam. I was going to see, does he take it to the outside? No, he's going to stay in line here. Dean Wilkinson right now is the first of those that already finished their pit stops. But I think these guys may win this pit road cycle out of pit road. Jack Walls, he's got Jacob Lee right in front of him. Jacob's going to roll out of the way, though, it looks like, and let Jack take over. And then Gabe Butler right behind him. He had a great pit stop as well there. And he just needed a short pit stop because, again, he took that fast pair. What he's doing right now is he's staying on cycle with everybody else. So he's going to pick up that 83. We'll watch you outside. 21's going to slot in there. And then right now, like I said, Jack's still our leader. Dean Wilkinson second. So, but again, I think momentum's going to go back to this 55. But again, that extra lap, though, for Jack Walls and a great in and out for him has him currently leading as here comes the momentum on the second lane.
Yeah, we've seen Gabe get back up there, and what's really going to be interesting is to see how hard Gabe pushes it. You know, does he try to get out in front of these guys and get his lap back, and be leading this pack, the first car, you know, getting his lap back? As we see some guys making some big moves. Oh, we're gonna have some guys. Oh my goodness. Caution's
out. And I saw it as it happened. It was just a lot of miscommunication there. Drivers trying to get out of the way. And so you probably heard on the driver's radio. Obviously, we don't get to hear it all, but and there's the 88 you just talked about. He's got severe damage to his front end, and that was after he's already taken his fast repair. So that's going to be a tough one for Gabe. He's going to have a lot of repairs to go, and I think that it might be night over for a couple guys. Let's go back here and take a look at this, because again, I don't think there's any maliciousness on this. It's just a lot of miscommunication. And so what we're going to see is, I'm trying to think where it really started. I think Nick Wing was one of those that got the worst of it. So you see him, he's in that Howland 28 car. We'll back it up to here. And so what's happening right is you see Ryan Decker, you see Bud Steele, and I think last second they say, oh, we got to get to the top here, try to let the leaders on by because the other pack is on the inside line. And then so you can see these guys just, Nick Wing was holding the bottom, and yeah, just some miscommunication there. And so Nick gets hit from the 83. He gets into 88, and then you see the accordion right behind them. All these cars lifting one another up there. And so just unfortunately, yeah, just a mistake from a couple guys that wound up really bad. And then I saw the 51 take a tow for a second. I thought he looked like he might get away with it. But then right there, 19 gets into the rear of his car. That sends him up and around. And I'm saying we're probably going to see some pretty decent contact as well. No. Honestly, yeah, surprised he took a tow there. But we'll jump back live here as drivers are on pit road. And now the question is, who winds up getting that wave around with all of this here? We'll see who's still on track. And it looks like it's going to be Ryan Decker in all of this here, Brennan. He's going to get his lap back in that 48. What I'm watching right now is we've got a couple drivers saying, you know what, we're going to stay out. We're just going to stay out and get our lap back. And that's the 6 of Bud Steele, the 32 of Seth Groover, and the 13 of Mike Allen. But like I said, we've got a lot of drivers now in a very tough situation. Like I said, Nick Wing, he's able to use his fast repair, but Gabe Butler, like I said, that car, he already had to use his. Jacob Lee, he already had to use his. So these guys are, I mean, they're just going to have to try to survive and hope for some more attrition and bring them back into the thick of this thing. You also see there the 19 there of Gary Huffines, also significant damage to that number 19. So yeah, so these guys are, yeah, they're going to be in a bad spot here, unfortunately.
Man, what a feeling. Just I get where I almost had running when I ran with the trucks just the other night, the same feeling where it's like you're trying to stay there on that bottom and you don't want to get in those guys' way, and then you don't, it's it's so much happens so quick. So man, it's some bad breaks for some guys involved, and get back in there, get them repairs, because like you said, you never know what's gonna happen, and every point matters in this race. So get back out there, and maybe you get a group of 3 or 4, some banged up race cars, and maybe you guys can at least keep it up to a little bit of speed. So as we still see the 88 sitting on pit road.
Yeah, Jacob's already gone away. That car, honestly, looking a lot better than I expected. You see, again, this time it looks like the right front center punched a little bit. But as a whole, better than I expected, truthfully. So we'll have to see on that one. And then strategy-wise here, Brendan, we are for sure still one stop to the end, because we're going to restart this thing just inside of 30 to go. So 29 to go, it looks like, once we get that once we get the restart going here. And again, you're going to see, actually, as I say that, Mike Allen actually did come into pits. A little surprised by that. I think he had a good opportunity there just to go ahead and stay out. But actually, as I look at it, he's got some pretty good nose damage. So he needs to try to get those repaired. But like I had mentioned, though, Bud Steele, Seth Groover, there they go. They said, you know what? We only pitted a few laps ago. Let's just go back out there. Let's get the track position back, get that lead lap back, and then see how things kind of shake out. So now I believe the first car one down is going to be Mike Allen. And again, you can see the nose damage. I'm just nervous about that. And then Nick Wing coming out as well. He is the other car one down. And then Gabe Butler, he's going to do what he can, but that car has definitely seen some better days. Although I got to say, the back of that car is looking pretty rough. That front end looks solid. So the front end's what matters the most to me. So you can see the right front also, again, bent in a little bit, but all that matters if he can hold the draft. I mean, that couldn't be all that matters. So what we're going to have is basically, I believe, 3 cars battling for that wave round. Be the 13 here. You see him just catching to the field. That 88, and then the 28, and then the 88 chasing his way back around. And then Jacob Lee, you see right here, he's working his way back up, but he is unfortunately 2 down. Like I said, he's going to need a lot of help here, and right now sits in 23rd of 24. I believe the 51 has retired from the event.
Yeah, what's really, really going to make an impact for those guys that's got some damage is what these guys talk about as teammates. It's, can you maybe get those little bit of damaged cars into the middle of this pack, and then they can keep up that way. We see a lot of times if you're on the back end, you will fall off, but sometimes you'll catch a break and be in the middle of a pack and be able to hang with these guys. It's going to be a very, very interesting 30 laps as we're going to come to the green flag and get 29 to go as the 55 and the 9 brings them down.
Yep, like I say, yeah, there'll be 29 to go here at the line again. Fuel windows in that 20 lap range. So again, these guys could basically make it to the end in about 10 laps or so. So we'll see if anybody's going to try the short pit strategy. As you see, field hits green. We're back underway. I got to say good evening to Mama Groover. And yeah, chat's been quiet tonight. I'm glad you popped in here, and definitely hope you're doing well. And I'll say maybe you showing up is going to bring everybody back in. But I'll say right now, like I said, we're keeping an eye on your boys. Seth leading the points coming into tonight. Patrick on the outside looking in. But again, we know that they're going to find each other at some point. And so again, right now, Patrick, he's got a good chance because some of his competition's not having the night that they're hoping for here. So we'll see how that comes to play. But again, Brandon, we still got 29 to go here, 28 at the line. And right now, let's say you got those teammates leading both those middle lanes.
Yeah, I believe 2 cars that were involved in that beginning scuffle was the 411 and the 52. And we talk about staying with it and having breaks and things fall your way as we see these guys in the back trying to get organized to stay here with this pack, get guys where they need to be so they can push them, but just sticking with it and chugging along and not giving up. And you've seen them guys have kept working at it and made their way back to the front as we see the 19 and these guys back here trying to hang on.
Yeah, the one I'm a little worried about is Mike Allen. I think that nose damage is just more than he maybe realizes. We'll see. Again, the hope here is that he can hang on to this draft. If he can, then there's a good spot for him. But right now, it's not looking great right now. But the one that I'm impressed with, though, is that 88 Gabe Butler. He is safely held onto this draft. Like I said, that front end of the car looks pretty good. Right rear, obviously, it's seen some better days. But what it looks like we're going to have, though, is from what I can see, I think we're going to pretty much have the top 21 cars here all locked on together. Like I said, unfortunately, Mike Allen's the odd man out at the moment. I'm also watching Ray right now there. He is rolling to the back here to make sure he can pick up that 03 of Kevin Hash, and he has done exactly that. So Lucky Dog battle-wise, though, right now it's the 88 versus the 28, and as they run right now, Gabe's just ahead, but here comes Nick Wing. He's looking to that inside here, and so he's going to try to get a nose ahead. So this is going to be, again, that risk versus reward. How hard do you want to push your car? Because if there's an incident in front of you, if you get caught up in it, that could cost you that Lucky Dog. So if you're the 21 car, you're in a tough spot here, because unless the 13 pits, again, because he's lost this draft, if he has a fast repair, he might. I see the flames coming out. I think he's coming in now. Yeah, so this, we'll see. This could actually be a good break for that number 21, because now I believe that'll probably put Mike 2 down. And so if there's an incident, let's say, that involves the 28 and the 88, well, that Lucky Dog will go to the next car in line, which would be the 21. There's, you see Seth there catching the outside wall again out of 2. But it looks like, again, able to recover from it. And you see there's Gabe, big move to the top side. He does not want to take anything for granted. He wants to get as far forward as he can, but he's starting to lose his drafting help.
He's definitely going to need drafting help with that damage and bouncing back to the 28. He knows how to get it done. The first time we was here, I believe he pulled off the win and got the job done, and he knows how to get around. And this is Nick Wing's specialty: riding around, letting the other guys around him make mistakes. And sometimes that's what comes with riding back there, is sometimes being collected in it. But a lot of times it pays off for Nick Wing, and he knows how to get from the back to the front when the time comes to it. So definitely somebody to keep our eye on, because these guys have calmed out and brought it back down to double file.
Yeah, but like I said, right now we still sit with the top 19 on the lead lap. They're all still in this main pack. Gary Huffines right now the last one in that group. You see the 87, the 03, just a little bit back there, maybe a tenth or so off. But again, I'm wondering if that's just kind of trying to play it a little bit safe. Both cars look clean in front of him, so I think in that sense they're okay. And like I said, on the Lucky Dog battle side of things, actually I need to tell you, Mike Allen just leaving pit road now. So he's actually gone a couple laps down. So like I said, if, again, I don't want to put it out there in the world, but if there was something that happens that collects the 28 and the 88, it would then go to the 21 to get one of his 2 laps back. So that's really what Nick needs to happen in order to have a chance to try to get back into this race. So, or sorry, for Jacob to get back into this race, apologies. But yeah, so right now, though, you can see Gabe's got a couple cars ahead of the 28. I don't think we'll see again. They're just stuck up in the outside wall for a second. Was that 32 of Seth Groover? He's able to recover. That's going to cost that 54 in front of him some momentum. But well, we've been talking about all that, Brandon. We were talking about earlier the 52, and unfortunately, the opening incident at the beginning of the race. He said it's about time. Let's get going here. He's now up into second on the outside lane, and he is pushing Todd Merkel, trying to get that 2 car to the front.
I brought it up earlier, with the stats. He was tied second with the 48 for most top 10s, and he had quite a bit of top 5. So the 52 is understood. The assignment is, as they say these days. He, keep plugging away, run your race, and he's right behind a 2 and got himself in good contention. With the last pit stop is Mama Groover. Your boys didn't wait long. I said we would calm down and went double file, and they made that third line cooking again as the 24s decided he wanted to get up there and join the party, and stuff is starting to ramp up.
Yeah, no, Everett Lane, he's ready to have some fun there as well in that 24. And like I said, there's going to be guys that are going for the points. There's going to be guys that they're just here for the win. Like I say, Everett Lane kind of hopped in, unfortunately, a little late in the season. But again, he's a regular with these guys, so they know if he's in the race, he's going to be one that is going to contend to try to win this thing. So I'll say Everett's definitely a strong force to be reckoned with, and he's got some good help behind him. But as soon as you say that, you see Patrick here. He actually jumps to the inside lane here. So we'll see if maybe Patrick's going to try to see if he can sneak around these guys, then jump back to the third lane to be the first of those. Because, again, Patrick needs to get every point he can. So we'll keep an eye on that 54. But right now, I've been watching the inside line. Again, I haven't talked about him. That's because that's a good thing. And that's, you got teammates there, Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, working very, very well together. They got Jack Walls right behind them. And then another teammate of theirs, that 411 of Tom Dixon. I don't think we've talked about Tom at all tonight. and he's been having a very solid but quiet night in that 411, just hanging right around that top 10 spot, and I think he's been keeping the fenders clean so far. So, and Brandon, we're about 20 to go here this time at the line, and that's going to be, again, windows should just be about open. What are we thinking here? Do we just run it all the way out, pit with 10 to go, or do we try to, or, well, actually, how far would it be? Maybe 15 to go. No, actually, yeah, it would be about 10 to go. Or do you want to try to pit with 20 to go and just kind of go a short pit approach and see if you can maybe break the field up a bit?
I mean, this it's so hard to tell, you know, or say, because so many guys have did so many different strategies all year, you know, but we have seen it work out best when these guys just come down pit road early with their teammates, get it knocked out of the way, because you get back up to speed. And when they're running in a pack like this that we've seen at other tracks, that you actually run faster than this lead pack because of everything that's going on up there. So if I was, you know, the 6 and the 48 and those guys, they've executed pit road all year long. So I wouldn't be shocked if those guys link up here and hit pit road all by themselves without no heads up or anything.
Yeah, so if you have the numbers too, I was saying that's the time to make those little sneaky moves, because again, you want to have the more you have, the better. Again, I think to me the magic number is usually about 4. So sometimes you can pull it off with 3 if you're very aggressive drafting. So yes, I mean, if you have, let's say, 5 or 6 guys that you know that you can come in and pit with, if you lose one of them, it may not be the end of the world. You feel bad for the guy that falls out, but it could be an opportunity for you, like I said, to kind of try to, if you feel like, hey, I can draft faster than these guys around me, but I'm looking at the pace right now. I don't think it's going to be worthwhile to take that gamble, because fastest laps of the race have been, in general, in the like mid-low 47s. Like I see a lot of 47 30s and 40s. We're only about 4/10 off. I see a lot of 47 70s. But here you go, saying that's what we just talked about. But these guys are coming really hot. Oh man, I think Dean and Charles may have made it, and Tom Dixon made it look nice and easy. He came in nice and clean with them, but much less exciting than the 9 and the 55 here. So again, we got to watch and see, do they get into their pit stalls clean, no penalties? You see Tom's looking for his pit stall there, had it a little bit unsighted, and it looks like clean entries here. So now we just got to wait and see, do they roll out of pit road and not have any hold? And answer is yes. Great stops by all of them. You see right there, they all come out really close together. That's job done with 3 of them. Again, we'll see if 3 is enough. Now we wait up front here, Brandon. Do we see a reaction?
Oh, we see maybe a couple wanting to. Yep, they pulled off. I think they committed to, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's either 2 weeks in a row or 2 races in a row that 55 has pulled off that slide.
I think it's 2 races in a row. Yeah, I think it was Thursday.
He has nailed Talladega's entrance. So hats off to the 55. That will win you the race alone. I believe it was Thursday. He pulled off an incredible slide. We would almost bet the farm on it that he was getting a penalty, but he nailed it, and it looks like he's done it 2 races in a row.
Yeah, here come the Groover brothers out perfectly together as well, and that's exactly what you need to do. So they're going to cycle out. We'll see how close Dean and Charles and Tom Dixon get to them. We'll get back to the front of the field, because while this is all happening, again, these guys got to make sure that they keep the pace up here. So now it's going to be Jack Walls' job to try to push Todd Merkel as fast as he can. And then this is now, I'm watching Jacob Lee. This is an opportunity for Jacob. If you can find somebody willing to run long, you want to make sure you're in front of these guys that may be on the lead lap. Because again, if he can go from that 2 down to 1 down, it can change his entire race potential. But you see right now the 101 there drift up just a little bit, got back in line there. But those are those little things that you can see. It's starting to cost them time as they've started to fall just a little bit off. But leaders ran at 47.54 the last time by. We still have to wait for the other guys to get an accurate lap time. But here come the TW guys, and like we just talked about, they're just going to swing around the Groover brothers. They'll slot down right in front of them. And I believe, so here's their first lap. Actually, we're going to come in. Here's a bunch of cars hitting pit road. You've got Todd Merkel there, Ryan Decker, Jack Walls, Everett Lane, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele. As right now, there you go. These guys got to make sure they find their pit stalls. And you saw right there, Ryan Decker. Oh, that's close there between he and Todd Merkel. It's so easy to get kind of step on each other's toes here. And then also need to mention Jacob Lee's pitting with those guys as well. So now that leaves this group here. And you can see right there the 52 and the 101 trying to tandem with each other. Here comes Ray Rittenauer and Kevin Hash. They're saying it's time to go. We got to push hard. They clear that inside line. And you see the 28 trying to clear. Couldn't quite do it. Has to drift back up there. But he's got help from the 13 behind as well as the 88. So like I said, these guys got to get organized or else that short pit strategy could work. Because right now Dean Wilkinson last time by, he ran a 47.70. Let's wait for Ray and them to finish their lap. 47.90, so 2/10 quicker for Dean Wilkinson and TW. And now the guys that just pitted, Brendan, where are they hiding out here? Where is Jack Walls, Eric Laurie and company? Here they are. Here comes Dean Wilkinson. These guys are going to come out right together.
Yeah, coming in that small group, you just eliminate so many things that you see happen. If it's even in pit road with coming to your box, we seen Bud Still fall victim to that last week. Just guys trying to get to their box. It's so tough. And this right here is slowing it down as we see some guys heavy on the brakes. You got to make sure they don't lock it up too much and spin and drive into you. And it's just less likely to happen when you bring the small groups. And not only that, but they're your teammates. So you're commuting everything that's going on. And it looks like it's going to play out as these guys are coming down for their final pit stop.
Yeah, you see them hitting their pit stalls there. And that's a tricky one right there, too. You saw the 87.03. They're pitted right together, which means it's really easy to kind of lose that entry and exit. But a great stop for the two of them. You saw right there behind Dale Rapp, a good exit. Joshua Highbaugh as well. And saying these guys, unfortunately, just a little slower. That's going to cost them here. That 17, the 77, the 19, the 081, because they're building up speed. But here they come. Look at the charge that Dean has. The 54 of Patrick Groover has. Like I said, it's pretty much go time for these guys. And now we got to jump back to Ray Rittenauer and company. Will they get momentum enough to hold on to that draft? And I'm going to say I think the answer is going to be yes. Will Dale Rapp there drift up a little bit? You get really nervous right there. But he's got to try to hold on to this draft for all he is worth. And you see there they go. They're working around that Hash and Rittenauer combo. Brian Decker just kisses the outside wall a little bit. But again, these guys are they got to get everything they can here right now. But I'm a little nervous right now if I'm those two here, the 52 and the 101. They got to get locked on and they got to push like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, they definitely got to get going. And we spoke about it earlier with Nick Wing. We seen the 6 and those guys come to pit road together. And we talk about it not being with your teammates and being spread out. He was one of the guys that didn't get the benefit from pitting with his teammates. So that's a big hurter there for the 28 as we still see the 52 and the 101 trying hard to catch this pack. They might need what you talk about, might need that last guy to really maybe throttle it a little bit so they can catch up.
Well, it's starting to go the right way. There's a little separation there you see with the 87.03. I think that, again, I always talk about that ladder, and I think that's just what happened as they've just clicked off now 0.2 of a second just through that 3 and 4 complex. So I think it's going to be job done. So put 14 cars in this main pack here. And right now we've had everybody pit except for a couple guys. And here they come now, Nick Wing, Gabe Butler, trying to get everything they can. We'll see if they got in clean or not. But again, they're hoping for a yellow there because they were still tail end of the lead lap prior to their pit stop. So they're trying to gamble there and see what they could do. And then, so yeah, we'll jump back up front, wait for everything to cycle through. But looking at what we have right now, so we have the top 14 together, Brandon. Unfortunately, 15th on back there in this group together here with Robert Amaral, I mentioned, Gary Huffines, Anthony Lane, Frank Ranger. And then, unfortunately, Todd Merkel also getting lost some track position out of all that as well in the 2 cars. So I can tell you the 28 and the 88 did get clean in and out. But you can see, though, they're about to those laps they ran by themselves, though, just the 2 of them. That's going to cost them the draft here, unfortunately. But again, they had to take the gamble.
Yeah, and the one positive that Nick has to take from this is I believe he is going to be the only car a lap down at this point as we sit. And we know these guys are going to get racy. We got 10 to go. And so with 5 laps to go, it's we don't get the name for there's no reason. It's known to have a green-white checkered. So keep plugging away, and those guys that are coming behind you, just keep racing and stick with it because it won't be long before we're 3 wide and getting after it.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Yeah, it's only a matter of time. And I can tell you actually, though, it is actually Gabe Butler at the moment, the first car one down in that number 88. But again, though, they're right together here. So that's going to be a tough spot for them, too, where you want to work together. But like I said, for Nick here, he's got to make sure that he's okay in points, because I got to double check where he is on the point side of things. Looking for
I
Nick
believe
Wing.
he was on the bubble.
He is in 12th right now. Yeah, he is on the bubble. So, yeah, he might have to make a tough decision here. And actually, as I say that, he's actually gotten around Gabe. So that answers the question right there. So if there were to be a yellow, at the moment, Nick Wing would get the wave around, which would put him back in the lead lap and give him a good chance to get some more very, very important points. But right now, again, we talked about also looking on the outside, looking in, the 54. We just talked about Patrick Gruber. And it's exactly what we suspected. Seth is right on him. Eric Lorry's right there. Everett Lane's with these guys as well. So, yeah, there's no telling how this is going to end up. And especially with that one drop week here, Brandon, a lot can change. But you see Dean right there, I think, drifting off the bottom there. Let Bud Steele get let Charles Johnson, get a little bit of fresh air. As I say that, a little bit of disconnect for the 9. Now he's back. That's always a very concerning thing to have. Now a couple of guys are blinking. I'm not sure if that's now possibly me, because I have a lot of cars disappearing on me here.
Yeah, no, I think that's happening on you, guys. I still got him running. Got the 55 out, or now the 54 out in front of the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Still two by two here is 54 and the 32s working on the outside is Dean and Charles, but they're charging right back at him on the bottom. Still too wide as head down on the back stretch. The Groovers are definitely. I think their plan could be what maybe we seen some guys do on Thursday, and that was maybe get up there and lead both of these lanes and hope that they can really control it. We seen the guys do it on Thursday and go ahead and really be able to control the race that way.
Yeah, we are definitely having issues. I think I may have unfortunately just lost it on my end, which I'm so sorry if that's the case. I don't know if you still even hear me or not, Brandon, but hopefully it'll bring us back here, especially with as little time as there's left in the race.
Yeah, no, I still got you, and we got some 3 wide racing here. Maybe we can do it like the 50s, and it's an audio cast, but I can tell you still that Dean Wilkinson is leading the race there. Still chugging along. We got a third lane working on the outside there by Eric Lorry, but we still have the Groovers in the middle battling back against the 55 and the 9, and we got some build up here, Gaels. We're on lap 70 right now. Eric Lorry was trying the third lane and he got a little bit hung out there to dry, but the 55 is still plugging away with the 9 car on the outside as we come to lap 71 here, bringing us to 4 to go. Still the same 2 wide racing as we had when we lost it here. Any luck on your end, Gael?
Yep, we're reloading the sim as we speak. It's just about back. Again, apologies, but appreciate the patience, and we should be back here now.
All right, well, just to still keep you guys going on, what's going on? We got 2 wide racing still probably about the same thing as we left these guys still setting in, getting all their temperatures ready. They don't want to push it too hard here with 4 to go and have your car too hot before you really get a shot at with 1 or 2 laps to go when you want to make your move. So you really want to keep those temps low, and that's what we're really seeing from these guys, still running 2 wide, backing off of the guy in front of them. It looks like maybe we're back good here, Gael.
Yeah, I think things are working. Say if all my stuff is showing right, I believe we're at 4 to go here, Brandon. I'll confirm with you. But yeah, like I said, I think we're back in business. We got 14 cars still in this main pack going for the win. You see the 52. He's trying to jump with that 101. But right now, like I said, the brothers in the middle there, Patrick leading Seth there. Then you got the TW teammates now lined up 1, 2, 3 in the inside lane. So you know they're staying committed to one another. We'll see what they can happen here.
Yeah, and they're seeing it as we're seeing it. This is live where we caught right back up, and as we talked about it, business is picking up. This is what we talked about with Nick Wing, to keep fighting and those guys back there, because we're already to 3 wide racing, and those guys you brought up earlier, the 101, I brought him up the 52. These guys are on that outside lane. They know they're on the bubble. They want to get up here, and they want to get a win and secure their spot.
Yeah, exactly right. On board here with Dale Rapp. He's working that outside line, and it's just the two of them, and they're making it work very well right now, Brandon. So if they can get another car or two to get up there, they could really make a big charge here. So big props here to Josh and Dale, because this is not easy what they're doing, because we're about to come to 2 to go. And again, the way it works is they got to make it to the white flag before this race is official, and then from there they can race it out and see who's going to get to the line first. But we still got to get a full lap through on this one. But I am shocked that nobody's gotten to that third lane. Nobody's jumping up with those two as of yet. So we'll see. Maybe they're thinking that that 52 is going to get too hot. Maybe then they'll be able to take over the third lane. I'm not sure, but right now the 54 Patrick Gruber just a half car ahead here.
Yeah, it's definitely as we see. Maybe I thought the 21 was going to go up there and give them some help. I wonder how many guys are really settling in thinking, hey, a lot of guys have had bad days. Do we really need to make that big move? As you see the 32 and the 54, they open it up now for the middle of the 24 and the 48. These guys really control it. We talked about it when the broadcast went out. Thursday, we seen teammates really control those lanes. I thought that's what we were about to see there, Gael. As they're spanning out, we got 3 wide.
Yeah, so they went to the bottom, then they jump back to the middle, and they will get to the white here, Brandon. So last lap here at Talladega at the line. Everett Lane leading to that white flag lap. Can he clear the Groovers? Yes, he does. He's going to jump in front of the 54 of Patrick. There's Dean Wilkinson there, Charles Johnson. We'll see who's going to get the drag out of 2. Can the 54 find a way to get around Everett Lane, or is he just going to have to try to push to get his best result? Here comes Bud Steele. Look at Ryan Decker. They're going to work that third lane together now.
Yeah, and I think a blessing in disguise is right there. The 21 hopped out to make that line even better. It's going to give a little bit of drag. Oh, as we see Bud still getting the wall there a little bit, that's really going to hurt the momentum on the outside.
Oh,
the 32
Seth
blew up.
Yep. So now it's the drag race to the
shootout.
line, and right now it is Everett Lane just a nose ahead, but we'll see what they get as they come to the start-finish line. It's a big push on the inside. Will be Everett, will be Dean. Oh, that was... I don't know who got that one. That's too close to call. We'll have to pull up the official results. But what we can tell you is it's Everett Dean 1-2, and then it will be Patrick Gruver, I believe, actually. You know what we're going to do here? Let's jump back right off the bat here, and we're going to take one more look here as they come to the line. I'll try to pause it right at the moment here, Brandon, because this is tight between the top two. Well, again, we'll get the official results here, but let's pull it up so we can look at it first, because that was inches between the 55 and the 24, and I think the same with the 24, apologies. So let's see if I can time it right. Up too soon. I'm thinking that's Everett Lane in the 24, just a splitter ahead of the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. And if we jump live, I think we're about to get our answer here, because here comes Everett Lane to the start-finish line. He's going to celebrate in that number 24. I talked about it. He's going for the win of this race, and that is exactly what he has done here tonight.
Awesome run. What a finish by these guys. What a show they put on. I got to catch the finish of Bud Steele. Bud Steele did finish this race. He finished it going backwards. Kudos to Bud for still finishing. But hats off to the 24, and man, what's some pushing there by the 9. Man, those guys were really locked in, really had that race in, and just unfortunate for the 55.
Yeah, but I say a really good result. And so while we watch him celebrate, we will get those official results here for you all, as it is going to be that number 24 of Everett Lane by 0.03 of a second, and it's actually a tie for the third position. Had to go to the 4th digit there. Charles Johnson over Patrick Gruver, so actually Charles getting a top 3 there tonight. That just shows again how tight it was between those guys. And then Tom Dixon, a great top 5. Jack Walls, talked about Dale Rapp. He gets a really solid top 10 there in 7th. Seth Gruver, even popping the motor, still winds up in 8th somehow. Eric Laurie, Ray Rittenauer there in 9th and 10th. And then other lead lap finishers here, including Robert Amaral there, Anthony Lane, Kevin Hash, Frank Ranger Jr., Gary Huffines, Ryan Decker, and Bud Steele, who you mentioned finishing in backwards. Joshua Highball there in 18th. And then the remainder of the field here, unfortunately, not the Knights they're hoping for, including Todd Merkel there in 19th. Still in lead lap. Nick Wing, Gabe Butler did not get the cautions they were hoping for. And then Jacob Lee, Mike Allen there, multiple laps down. And then Jim Brooks, a early retirement in 24th. And so now I've already got the points updated here. So that's going to be the next big thing here, Brandon, before we chat with drivers. Because I believe, well, actually, yeah, because actually we won't have a chance to chat with Patrick. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run through our points and get those top 12. And, oh, man, it is close. So, you know what? Since none of these guys are in points, I'm going to do it backwards. We're going to talk to our drivers first.
10-4. I am in there. And what do you say we bring in our third place finisher, the driver of the 9 car, Charles Johnson. Had him quite a good run there. Got him a top 3. And
yeah, let's pull Charles Johnson in over here. Get in that third spot, and Charles, it went to the 4th digit there because it showed 0.000 between you and Patrick there at the line for the third position there. But I mean, take us through those last laps. Obviously, you and the TW guys with Tom Dixon and then Dean Wilkinson opted to go ahead and pit a little earlier, force everybody else to see if they could react and keep up with you. But I say Brad and I were talking about it, and that's 2 races in a row where Dean is just full sending it into pit road, just tires locked, smoke everywhere. You decided to join that party, trying to keep that car pointed in the right direction. Just take us through the strategies, and then how was the heart rate during that pit stop there?
Yeah, the brakes on these cars are hard to get used to coming to pit lane, to say the least. It's either you're way too fast or you're sliding tires. Don't seem to be any in between for these cars. But yeah, at first I want to say that I met Paul the alien in the human examination room. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. Sorry, go ahead there, Brandon.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, good run, Charles, and I tried to hop in the trucks a couple weeks ago after being not in them for a while, and you've only ran just a couple races here. How was it, to get back in the car and be able to hang on and run up front with these guys for all night?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and me and Dean kind of did the okie dokie there in the pit stalls, because I had told him that if I don't have the opportunity to help push him, I'm probably just going to back off and let him race it out, because I'm not in the points. But I know you guys have a playoff, so I really wasn't concerned about it. So I had the opportunity to try to help him get a win, and that's what I was trying to do. But yeah, really fun race, man. I really enjoyed that. That seemed to be in the car. It seemed very exciting the entire race. We were 3 wide for some really long runs there. So I think the audience will enjoy this one for sure.
No, it was an amazing race, Charles. You guys put on a really, really good job. And I said, I think at the end, honestly, it would have been fun to see how the finish went. The 32 and 4 just got a little too hot at the end, popped the motor, trying to help the 54, obviously, to get what he could as well. Obviously, like you mentioned on the championship side of things, a lot of guys looking at the top 12 to see if they can make their way in there. But like I said, there's other guys that they just want to get wins. I say you were in that position. Like you said, you were focusing on helping Dean, but you had guys like Everett Lane kind of joined in mid-season, but him able to pull off the win tonight as well. So that's the thing, is even when it comes playoff time, I mean, you guys can't just roll over. I mean, you're in it for yourselves as well. If you can't help a teammate, you want to win. So, I mean, how do you approach that coming into the next 4 races now with that potential? Or if I can help Dean, great. And if he's not in a position where I can help him, do you just go for it yourself, or what's the plan?
No, I'll help a teammate if I can, but if I'm not in a position to help a teammate and I find myself running up there with the championship 8, 12, whatever it is, I'll just go to the apron and let those guys race it out. One thing I don't want to do is cost another driver points unless I'm there trying to help a teammate,
Well, I was going to say, we'll let you debrief with Dean on that one, because he might say, hey, the higher up you finish, the more points you take away from my competitor. So that's going to be my only counter for you. But I'll let you guys work that one out. But Charles, again, great run tonight. Get in that third place. Like I said, it went to the 4th digit there between you and Patrick there. So just really, really good job tonight, man. And definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
No, I'm just excited for what we have coming for season 2, and want to say thank you to you guys, man. You do an awesome job up here in the broadcast booth, and we wouldn't be what we are today without you and the rest of the team. So, just thanks to you guys, and yeah, hope we put on a good show tonight, man. It felt like it was a really good show in the car for sure.
Nah, it was it was a great one. I had a little bit of hiccups towards the end, but we got back connected in time to catch the end of it. So glad we did. Yeah, great job though tonight, Charles, and definitely looking forward to seeing you the rest of the way.
Yep, appreciate it, man. You guys have a good night.
You too, sir. All right, Brandon, we're gonna jump one spot forward, and that is gonna be the number 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Finishes in second time. Started on pole, finished second tonight. Dean, lead the most laps. Another amazing and terrifying but exciting pit entry for you on that final pit stop. And say Charles tried to do the same as you and just slide it as far as he could. And then Tom just had a nice clean entry. He's like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm just going to do this my way. But then you see the reaction. We saw the Groovers kind of come in the lap after you guys, and then it just, I mean, it's one of those things, just the way it works out. You guys all wind up together with the whole pack of, I think, 14 going for the win there at the end. I mean, take us through the strategy and those last laps.
Yeah, that pit stop, like Charles said, the brakes. I mean, I don't know how many times I still don't know exactly when to hit those things. And yeah, I was just lucky to get it bowed down again. And I think I was worried I was going to run into Charles, door slam him there, but I guess I made it down in time. Yeah, it was a fun race. The beginning part there, I really appreciate the pushes I was getting there from Mr. Rittenauer. He was doing a great job keeping the engine cool, which is a very difficult thing to do with these cars when you're in a pack like that. Because when I got behind Charles, it was just yeah, keeping the engine from blowing up, which is the fun part of racing here is maintaining the temps and trying to keep up front. So yeah.
Yeah, man, you had a heck of a run, and I don't even think I'd been able to have an interview after that pit entrance. I would have been going to change because, whew, that was, you just keep putting it right on the edge and doing what you have to, and how do you stay motivated after a win like this, or after a second place like this, when you had probably the best strategy and a really good car, dominated up front all day. How do you keep motivated, thinking, man, I could have had this one?
Um, well, I mean, I told Charles, I said, I'll be happy to get a top five because, sometimes the end of these races, the high line comes or, you get sometimes that big wreck at the end. So my train of thought was just to get a top five because we're close to the playoffs. I think I'm fifth or something. So I wasn't too concerned about, I just didn't want to get wrecked out. I was just stay in one piece, stay up front the whole race and try not to be involved in one of the wrecks, which is exactly what I was able to do. So.
Nah, it was a really, really good run there at the end, Dean. Like I said, I mean, and it was, again, just a couple thousandths between you and Everett, and then, like I said, I was telling them it went to the fourth digit between the 9 and the 54 there. So, like I said, everybody's going for everything they could there at the end. And then so let's say now it's time to get into those final four, obviously safely into the top 12. So, it sounds like Charles is pretty committed to help you out there. So, I mean, do you change anything, or do you just stick with what you're doing? Because you used to be the guy that would kind of just cruise right in the back and start in the back as well, but now you've been qualifying, running up front a lot. I mean, how has that been? How do you prefer either way? Or, I mean, take us as what's the mindset on that one too?
Well, the mindset with riding in the back before is because when we had more drivers and more newer drivers, there was the more chance of a wreck. So I was trying to stay out of the front and get involved in wrecks. But now that we've got, a little lower driver count, good drivers, it's, less likely to happen. So, and it's more fun to be up front. I mean, I'm having a blast being up here. It's more exciting.
Well, and plus, I mean, you got to show off that Cheerwine paint scheme too. So I totally get it. But no, I mean, great job tonight, Dean. Like I said, looking forward to seeing you in those final 12 races for the playoffs. And yeah, good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll see if we can get you a trophy, maybe.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, so that is Dean Wilkinson there. So, Brandon, we got to jump one spot further forward, and we're going to pull in that number 24 of Everett Lane. And say, Everett, we talked a little bit pre-race. I chatted with you. I was like, oh, yeah, let's see where the points are. And you're like, I'm not in the points. But I say, it doesn't mean you're not going to be going for the wins and able to do exactly that tonight. And with a lot of excitement in the whole span of it all as well. You had a lot going on during your race. I mean, take us through kind of the ups and downs, and then obviously the charge there to the end.
Yeah, crazy night tonight here at Talladega. I think the call's that second caution there. Me and Charles got together, I think, a little bit there. Unfortunate there. I hate causing caution flags. I just don't like that at all. But we got together early. Got a speeding penalty early. Come back from that, got another caution there when I was coming out of pit road after serving the 40-second penalty for speeding, and brought me back around to the pack, which got lucky with that. But a lot of fun tonight. Good racing up front. It was fun.
Yeah, you guys definitely put on one heck of a show. You know, we heard Charles talking about how exciting it was in the car, and it was definitely an awesome broadcast to call. And man, I just give you a hats off and tell you good job, and I would definitely tell you that I was definitely smiling down watching you race this one, and good job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had Eric in front of me there for a little bit, and I wanted to probably try to take him to a win. He went up to the outside, and I couldn't get out there to help him, and he ended up going backwards a little bit on that high line. But I got a good chance to go to the outside with Ryan Decker. I got to thank him for number one for helping me get up front there. And then once I got down to the bottom, Patrick took me to the end, and it's good to win over here. It's a good bunch of racers over here. Everything's great over here. I enjoy racing here.
Yeah, I know you guys put on a really, really good show there at the end. But before we let you go and enjoy this one, sir, as always, definitely got to give you the floor. Any thanks and chats you'd like to give for that win this evening, sir?
I want to thank my team boot knockers out there, Gabe and Eric tonight. Unfortunately, Gabe ran into some trouble, but we bring it home for the boot knockers. Thank Patrick and Ryan, and I want to throw a shout out to my buddy Al Cena. I miss him every day.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I know you were really close the last race, and I say didn't take long able to bring it home tonight. So I figured this one would be a pretty big one for you as well. Just on top of, like you said, tough to win these things. So, hell of a job. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's bigger than all of us, and definitely I'm sure he's very happy to see you get that win tonight, man. So go enjoy this one. Like I said, looking forward to hopefully see you in the rest of these races. I say I'm sure Gabe and Eric are definitely wanting to see you in there because they know what you have behind the wheels, so they want to take advantage of all of that if they can.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gail. You too, Brandon. You guys do a great job up there announcing these races, and that's one of the reasons why I come over here to the job that you guys do up there, and the admins. It's just a good spot to be racing.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much, and great job again tonight. Looking forward to seeing you back on track soon.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Brandon, that is our race winner in that number 24. Obviously, we already went over the final results of the race. And so now I don't have a fancy overall graphic, but what we're going to do is we're going to run through those drivers. And so our regular season winner regular season champion is going to be that number 32 of Seth Groover. With that runner-up tonight, Dean Wilkinson jumped 2 spots into second. Gabe Butler is third in points. Kevin Hash fourth in points. Raymond Rittenauer are the top 5. And then you got Eric, Laurie, Ryan Decker as well getting into the playoffs. Dale Rapp, Joshua Highbot, and Patrick Groover jumps up 3 spots to make that top 12, Brandon. So he did everything he needed to do. He got help where he needed to, and he made it happen. So good job to Patrick. Congrats on him to making that top 12. And then guys that had tough nights, we were a little nervous about it if they were going to get into that top 12 or not. Nick Wing and Jacob Lee both do advance into that top 12 in the 11th and 12th positions. Unfortunately, there's always those guys that are going to not quite make the cut, and the two, unfortunately, in this case, are going to be Tom Dixon. He was just 3 points short, and then Jack Walls 5 points short to making into that top 12. So those are your 12 playoff drivers: Seth Groover, Dean Wilkinson, Gabe Butler, Kevin Hash, Raymond Rittenauer, Eric Laurie, Ryan Decker, Dale Rapp, Joshua Heibaugh, Patrick Groover, Nicholas Wing, and Jacob Lee. So congrats to you guys. And Brandon, I got to give you the biggest shout out, man, because obviously never want to have any internet connectivity on my side, but you jumped right on, went for the radio play-by-play to kind of save things for a little bit while I got everything up and running again. So big thank you, man. That was really, really good on the fly reaction there for me.
No, you're welcome, and you just gotta sometimes read and react, and that's what happened. I just wanted to make sure everybody, that tunes in and gives us, their Sunday night, they didn't miss out on anything with a little bit of a hiccup. You can't ever count on internet to work properly the whole time. So, but yeah, I know, what, I appreciate you guys, giving me a chance to come up here, and I've had fun with it all year. The drivers have put on some of the best racing you'll see anywhere. So everybody else has made it smooth for me. So thank you to everybody else.
Well, Brandon, somehow that is the playoffs time to start here. We're going to be kicking off the playoffs on Thursday night, then back here on Sunday, and we're going to be running those 4 weeks straight. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. IndyCar on Tuesday night, we'll be back again there, and then an off week before the season finale there as well. And I do need to mention we will be racing next week. I know it's Easter, unfortunately, just with the way the calendar works. If we don't put the race on, it's going to push it way back after, because we have an NASCAR All-Star race, NASCAR's Coke 600. It would push everything back 2 weeks. So just unfortunately, it's going to kind of force our hand on that one. But hope you're all able to make it. As always, love to have you all here watching, supporting your favorite drivers, friends, family. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to do these with you all. So Brandon, again, as always, man, it's a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you so much. Everybody that bared with us through the little tech hiccups, thank you as well for that. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple nights' time on Tuesday for the IndyCars, and then back again Thursday, and then 1 week's time on Sunday. So, of course, as always, till next time, take care, stay safe, have a good night.